Deep in the heart of the enchanted forest lived a colony of ants. They had made their home in a large tree trunk and were always busy with their daily chores. Brian was a young boy who loved exploring the forest and often visited the ants. One day, as Brian was playing with the ants, he heard a strange noise coming from the nearby woods. It sounded like someone was whispering his name. Brian looked around but couldn't see anyone. He shrugged it off and continued playing with the ants. As the sun started to set, Brian said goodbye to his ant friends and started walking back home. The woods were getting darker, and the trees seemed to be closing in on him. Brian felt a chill run down his spine as he heard the whispering again. This time it was louder, and it sounded like it was coming from behind him. Brian turned around and saw a shadowy figure lurking in the trees. He couldn't make out who or what it was, but he knew it wasn't human. He started running, but the figure seemed to be following him. Brian could feel its icy breath on his neck. Brian finally reached his home, panting heavily. He tried to tell his parents about what had happened, but they dismissed it as his imagination. They told him to go to bed and forget about it. That night, Brian couldn't sleep. He kept hearing strange noises in his room, and it felt like someone was watching him. He tried to ignore it, but it only got worse. He saw shadows moving on his walls, and the whispering started again. Brian knew he had to do something. He decided to investigate the source of the whispering. He got out of bed and followed the sound. It led him to the attic. Brian was hesitant to go up there, but he knew he had to face his fears. As he climbed the stairs to the attic, he heard the whispering getting louder. He finally reached the top and saw a young girl sitting in the corner. She was staring at him with hollow eyes. Brian was terrified. He didn't know what to do. The girl started speaking in a low, eerie voice. She told him that she was a ghost and had been haunting the house for years. She said that she needed his help to move on to the afterlife. Brian was skeptical. He didn't believe in ghosts, but he knew something was not right. He decided to investigate further. He went to the library and researched the history of the house. He found out that a young girl had died in the house years ago. Brian knew he had to do something to help the ghost girl. He went back to the attic and talked to her. He asked her what she wanted him to do. She told him that she needed him to find her diary. It was hidden somewhere in the house, and it contained the key to her salvation. Brian searched the house and finally found the diary hidden in a secret compartment in the wall. He opened it and read the girl's story. He found out that she had been abused by her father and had taken her own life in the attic. Brian knew what he had to do. He went back to the attic and confronted the ghost girl's father. He told him what had happened and demanded that he confess to his crimes. The father broke down and confessed to everything. The ghost girl was finally at peace. She thanked Brian for his help and disappeared into the afterlife. Brian felt a sense of relief and closure. He knew that he had done the right thing. The haunting of Brian was finally over, and he could sleep peacefully at night.